know when it
All
records.
right, all right.
Okay, cool.
Hello, once again, my name is Omabolo Steven. Welcome to Live Well with Omabolo Steven. On today's show, I have a guest with me who is going to be taking us through how to have a positive mindset in spite of any disability you may have. I have Patrick Thomas on the show with me. He is a Flint, Miami native and entrepreneur who is passionate about changing the way people view disabilities. Welcome with me on Live Well with Omabolo Steven, Eric Patrick Thomas.
Hey, thanks for having me. What's happening?
It's a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you for being a guest.
Hey, today's Inspired Friday.
All
Every
right, so
Friday.
that's a good
So
time.
it is Happy Inspired Friday. Every
Oh, I
Friday.
see.
Every Friday. So now every Friday you got to ask people on social media what inspires
Hmm.
you using the hashtag
Hmm.
Inspired Friday.
All right, so Eric Patrick Thomas is inspiring us today. Great. So can
Yes.
I meet you?
Yes.
All right.
Yep, for sure.
All right. So let me meet you, please.
So where do we start? Where do we
A brief
start?
introduction about you will suffice.
Well, ever since I've been like a child, I've
Mm,
always had a passion for wordplay.
mm,
I like Mother Goose, Dr. Seuss, and so leading into that, and then passion of music, being around people that had all diverse of music, even musicals. My aunt listened to
mm,
musicals, so I even know that stuff. I would sit there and do like the Music Man and dance around and stuff. This is before my injury. And then
mm,
in elementary school, because I'm 43 now, then
mm.
MTV, you gotta watch MTV is Soul Train. And then I started, I remember Soul Train when Sugar Hill Gang was on there. And they did like the 15-minute actual version of Rapper's Delight. And I was like, whoa. And they were doing the lines and stuff. They're like, hip hop, give it to the hip, to the hip hop, and you don't stop. And I was like, oh, that's wordplay, or that's what I was learning. But then MTV, this is when they played all videos, and then there was this host Fab Five Freddy, and he
Mm,
introduced us to this world of hip hop,
mm.
rap and hip hop, and it was like the world was blown from there. Like,
Mm,
like look how they're rhyming. I don't think that at that young of an age I understood everything about it,
mm,
like maybe why they were doing it at that time,
mm.
but it was the way that it was like constructed. And then you see the microphones and the turntables, and you're like, oh, and they're you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. So then you try to do it on your Fisher Price record player. So you got your like little album. You're like, I watched they scratch the records. So I got like scratches. It's like I'm like, that does not sound like love. You didn't, because you didn't have a mixer and things like that. You just tried to record scratch on your
Mm.
plastic record player. But it played records. It was a
Good
Fisher Price
memories.
record player.
Mm,
Oh yeah, and so from there, there was LL Cool J and Run DMC. Those are just some of them. There's many more. And then Beastie Boys. And then at that point, I'm not really sure like where it says, hey, I'm gonna do that.
mm,
But I did. I started writing lyrics, and then the kids in the neighborhood, we started writing lyrics, and we just like would have like little mini shows like outside or something. It
mm.
was based on whatever our maturity was, whether it was like skateboards and whatever we were doing, Transformers, He-Man, I don't know, BMX, whatever we were being influenced by at that time. Then that's what we kind of wrote about. And then there was that at that young age. So that carried with me throughout my whole life right now, even to this day, is that installment of music and passion and hip hop. And
Mm.
then also as a child, somehow I just being an entrepreneur. I mean, my first entrepreneur um, was when I started renting my Nintendo games. I mean, I'm in elementary and I'm renting my Nintendo games
Mm.
like a video store. to build my collection of Nintendo games, and the neighbors or the kids in the neighborhood, they win because they don't have to worry about buying the game. And then I win because I get to build my collection. I had late fees and everything. Yeah, I used to go. There was a video store across the street, so I used to go there and I used to analyze, look at the videos and the late releases and the Be Kind Rewind and the beta and the VHS, all that different stuff, like the process of the way it was taken care of, the whole structure. And so I did it too. So I just wrote on like a notepad. It was a notebook and I wrote a name. I had a name for the video, so I wish I could remember the name. But I had late fees and damage fees, all that stuff. Yeah, how much they can rent it for and stuff. And then I would give out coupons once in a while, make little fake little coupon things for like holidays. I know.
Oh, great. So can you share a bit about how you became disabled?
Well, carrying is what I was talking about, the hip hop music. So I did hip hop all the way from elementary, middle school, high school, different people, different groups. And when I decided I actually went to college for photography, which I wasn't going to do, but since I could go to school for photography, my friend Ryan and I from Northern here in Flint, we moved in to a house together and we took photography school. And we were working, I was working 3 jobs at the same time. And while we were there, we found a recording studio, Ed Wetherington's Old Order. So we started recording right away. And then throughout the months that we were there, we started going to the club. We started meeting people in the city. And then one time at an after party, this guy was freestyle rapping. And we were like, wow, we need to do a song with him. So we told him, let's go out to eat. Let's talk about it. We did. The next day he came over. He listened to us. We had a freestyle cypher session. Then we scheduled studio time. And then we were supposed to only just do a collaborative song. We went into the studio. I think we came out 3 songs later. And then when we got back to the house, we all just were like, let's become a group. We're all thinking it. And it's opened up like the dictionary or the thesaurus. And I pointed to a word and it said miscellaneous. So we became miscellaneous. Well, we started doing more songs, more performances. And then on September 19th, we were celebrating, this is in 98, 97, we were celebrating our music project. Well, then we had a party to celebrate it, but it started like 1 o'clock in the morning. And about 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, I went outside to check the parking lot to make sure that nobody was messing in the neighbors' yards and things like that. And I was coming back, I was gonna go back into the house. And I was talking to my girlfriend at the time, and some people were on the porch. And then someone came around the DJ van and pulled a gun and pop, 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 out, open fired. And then instantly I got hit. I still have a bullet in my 3rd and 4th vertebrae. So they shot me from the backside from my neck, from the left side. And then I spun and I dropped to the ground. Then instantly I wasn't able to move from the neck down, wasn't able to yell or speak or ask for help or tell them I'm hurt or anything. I couldn't communicate outside of myself. And then I wasn't able to breathe on my own either. So I was starting to not be able to breathe. So I started foaming and blood was coming out of my mouth and I was in and out of consciousness. At the same time, you could hear the chaos of people, shooting, someone's been shot, Eric's been shot, or everything, like people running, people escaping. And then before you know it, you're being transported to the hospital. They're putting 4 screws in your head to stabilize your spine, called a halo. And then they put tubes in my mouth because I knew I was on life support. Waking up in the morning and seeing your dad and your mom and your stepmom and your stepdad, because my parents have been divorced since I've been 2. So they're both remarried. So you see them, and then you see friends, family, and a bunch, medical. You're like, I'm not able to move from the neck down right now. What is going on? And you're just like, but at the same time, you're trying to stay alive.
That's right.
So I don't think you have enough time to think about why you're not moving. You're more thinking about survival.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for that. Now, can you tell me your perception? How has the perception about life and relationships been despite of this disability?
Well, about life, I mean, I survived.
Mm,
So like every day I wake up, I'm like, thank you God for another day. Thank you for another beautiful day.
that's
No
right.
matter if it's like cold or hot or I'm not feeling well or whatever it is. I woke up, I was able to be alive and survive and see another day and be able to work on the
Mm,
things that I love, the passions and stuff, and and go after my goals and dreams, and
mm,
help other people at the same time.
right.
So that's like, so my perception is thankfulness every single second, but also when I wake up is the very
Mm,
first, you know, the very first thought, the very first,
mm.
because there's people that don't survive, people
That's
that aren't
right.
here,
That's right.
so you always got to think about that.
That's
You
right.
got to think about
Gratitude.
them.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, how about your support networks? How has it been like? Your support networks?
My support networks,
Hmm,
they're good, which it takes time to build.
that's right.
So when you get home from rehab, you go back to where you're going to live, then you start learning the resources in your community, and then you start being around people that are like-minded just like you. And then you start learning about advocacy, being an advocate and learning other disabilities. Lots of people with disabilities. There's a disability community. You start being around, you're going to the functions, you're going to the disability network, you're learning, you're learning as you keep building this circle of supports. And then also you get you start working on self-determination with the person-centered plan. So you're building your support system. Is
Hmm,
everybody the same, like the same 23 years ago that were in my
hmm,
support system then? No.
hmm.
So a lot of people that have went way out. But sometimes you learn that some people have their own agenda and it doesn't come out yet, or some people are just toxic, and you got to figure that out. But you're not going to know right away.
That's right.
But you just got to keep building your bridges, your networks,
That's right.
circle of
Absolutely.
supports, because your circle of supports isn't just to build this team. This is also they're going to also hold you accountable on
Hmm,
things that you say you're going to do, but
that's right.
also they're going to step up and say, like for instance, if you were fundraising for a van or a
Hmm,
house or something, they might say, hey, I know a person that's got a dealership,
hmm,
or I know a person that's got this, or I could start a fundraiser for you. Well, they just stepped up, so now you got to hold them accountable
hmm.
too. So it's a both, both of us, it's a win-win, or it's a,
That's right.
what do you call it, a two-way street, as they say it, so um and that's you got to just keep building your
That's
networks, and
right.
that's in your community. But then you
That's
got to
right.
build your networks of people that own businesses and people
That's
that,
right. Also building networks that support your visions and goals. I
yeah,
think that
for sure.
we absolutely that's very important. You're the proud owner of EZ Awareness by Design. Can you tell me about it?
Well, we specialize in graphic
Mm,
design, branding, apparel, and marketing materials.
mm,
But it did start out with just t-shirts. So, and then that's where we're home of the Inspire brand. So when you see the
mm.
Inspire brand, that's where it comes from. You see where it is by design.
Oh, I see. That's why you called Mr. Inspire. So
That
is that
is,
your brand? Is it I know it's a brand. So how did it come
yes,
about? How did it come about?
yeah. The brand came from starting the business a
Mm,
couple years later. And actually, I was wearing it on my shirt when I went to go speak. And I would go speak at places or go to schools and stuff and speak. And then we just saw the impact that it had on the kids. Actually, it was kids. And then we were just like, we're gonna start marketing this. We're gonna make it public, because it was just like, it was empowering them, it was encouraging them, it was bringing a positive action, it was doing something that they want to do creative, it was giving them a breath of fresh air. You know,
mm.
they were very like energized and wanting to do something, and there was inspiration.
Oh,
There be
great.
there would be a there would be a fill with inspiration. So it was like in the word itself, and that's why the quote we made, I said, or I never knew how powerful one word could be till I wore it on a shirt. I didn't really. But then you start seeing when you wear the shirt and then you go to a
That's right.
conference
That's
and the
right.
person's talking,
Excuse
when the
me.
person's talking, say you go to a conference and you're wearing the Inspire,
Mm,
they'll start using the word Inspire.
that's right.
You're
And
like, whoa,
it's
like
very contagious.
it is. It is. It's contagious in a great way,
Right. Oh, that's
in
right.
an
I mean, having a
inspirational way.
motivation. That's right. It's been Lawal Bamavala Stephen. I've been having a motivational discussion with Eric Patrick Thomas, who is AKA Mr. Inspire. Thank you once again for coming on the show. Now, I want to ask you, what advice can you give to someone who has a disability but lacks moral and financial support?
Finding the how. The
Yes.
same thing. Even with me, I lack financial support. That's why
Mm,
before earlier I was talking about fundraising. So unless like if you're not in a workman's comp case or like an auto injury or something that you have insurance to like get a wheelchair vehicle or get medical equipment that you need, you can get bare minimum
mm,
like Medicaid and Medicare. I mean, there is some, but there's you got to fundraise. You got to be able to ask for help.
mm.
You got to be able to be like, okay, I need help.
You need to
You
go out to ask for help, else help will not come.
yeah, I mean, you have to
Mm,
like. We just fundraised for the third van in 23 years, and it took 30 months. But it wasn't just one time thing. It was online fundraisers, GoFundMe. It was
mm,
a dinner, at a hall. It was a golf outing. It was
mm,
selling inspired shirts. It was selling bracelets. It started with bracelets. We were going to sell like 50,000
mm,
bracelets, but that did not,
mm,
that, that didn't work out
mm,
exactly as we wanted to do it. But it worked out though. And we had in-kind sponsorships. We had sponsors. We had donor. We had people that just donated. So it was a collective things that
that's right.
we were able to do. I mean,
Mm,
those are the things. So I would say in this situation, you have to fundraise. You have to
mm,
fundraise because there is no other. I mean, unless you can find grants, but
that's right.
we have not been successful with our grant findings. Like not getting them. That's been our success right now.
No,
Right now,
great.
time.
That's
So
oh, great.
the other thing, I mean, maybe they would like to start a business or something.
Mm,
So maybe that business and find the niche market or something or something that they love to do or maybe they can and they can go to the resources in their area like a chamber or like a network, a disability network or a Michigan or a rehab services, a Voc rehab service or something like that and be able to start a business and then maybe they can start making some money that way or some financial support to pay for
mm,
whatever it is, whatever the disability is. If it's somebody that's outside this country, which I already know because I've been talking to
mm,
someone in Africa, actually, because I
mm,
did a show on in Africa,
mm.
the
Great.
sister show. There's actually a newsletter that was written that said, "Man in Flint pledges to help people in Africa to bring disability awareness," or something like that. I was like, "Whoa!" So there is a guy actually that I've been starting to coordinate from that
Mm,
show, and he's going to be putting together a disability conference.
mm,
And because he was telling me how it is there, that it's the empowerment that it doesn't happen there.
that's
They think,
right.
if you have a disability, they don't
Yeah,
go, "Oh, you
especially in
can
the
work."
African countries, they need a lot of empowerment.
Yeah, and that's what this conference is
Yeah,
going to be about.
that's right.
It's going to be about what they're looking, what's it like to have a disability in Africa, and
Mm,
what is it that they're going to, what is it that they need, and where would
mm.
they like to see the future of it. Yeah, and this guy's been putting this conference together. It's like in this, I think he's going to do it in December, which is
Oh,
really
great,
cool. This
great.
was all from going on a podcast show, from going on a show.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Best of luck. Great.
yeah. So
All
I know
right.
it's different in all over the world, so
Mm,
that's the thing too. But all I said in the very beginning was you have to figure out like how we do things here and then how do we implement it there,
mm.
because we're talking about water, power, power wheelchairs. That was another thing,
Right.
big thing, how to,
That's right.
so we went through all these things. It's a big trial and error. I mean, it's
Mm,
going to take some time.
that's
Just like
right.
it's still taking time here in the US.
Mm,
We're still not where we need to be with accessibility or ADA.
mm.
We have a long way to go. We came a long way, but we got a long way.
That's
a lot
right.
further to go. And so someone's going to have to see what we're doing here and
Mm,
implement it in their, their
mm,
area,
mm.
whether it's, all of Africa. Well, I mean, it would be all over the world, would be beautiful,
Right, that's a great idea.
an accessible world.
Brilliant. Thank you once again. Do you have any projects you're working on?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
can you let me need to know?
Well, I'm like I said earlier, I got the van, so I was happy. We fundraised, we accomplished the van campaign that was called "We Drive to Inspire." In the next phase, for one of the things I've been looking for is I've been looking for a new place, another house, for a house. I'm renting now, and I want to do the next step, a fully accessible house, you know, that fits my needs and stuff like that. It's just the next step. It's you transition, you grow, and I'm ready for it. So we're starting to fundraise. We put the campaign together. It's called "We Live to Inspire," adding the "inspire" in there.
Oh,
And then,
great.
so I'm still developing some of the things um, like maybe like there's a room that's like the living room. How do you get costs down in it? Well, maybe such and such will donate this because I'll put their logo on the wall or something. You know what I mean? Like anything. It does. Hey, whatever works. If
That's
my
right.
furniture has to say is sponsored by such and such, or this furniture that hey, that's the way to do it.
That's right.
Um, so I also talked to my friend Kevin. He's got a 501c3, so it looks like we can have a 501c3 attached to it again. Last time the United Way stepped up and was the 501c3 for the We Drive to Inspire. And it looks like this one, we got a 501c3. So if like Home Depot or somebody wants to donate some wood to help maybe make the thing accessible, or if we're building a house, I don't know what direction it's going to go in yet, but we'll be able to have a 501c3 attached to it. So that'll be good. Plus we have a lot of people that have skills and trades like plumbing and like electrician,
Oh, great.
electrician, building, landscaping, cement work, all this stuff, laying the foundation. So and that comes as you go back earlier, as you said, your support system, your networks.
Oh, great. That's
So I
right.
built, yeah. So the networks that the circle of supports and the networks that were built a long time ago that you've still been building now, 15
That's
years
right.
later, the person that was on there 15 years ago, that you started with, this relationship comes into action. It's like, hey, I need you now.
Yeah, it's a matter of time.
It is. And then other than that, we're always working on Inspire stuff, the Inspire brand. The website's getting updated. We were working on that today. So the website, which is inspireshirt.com. So we've been updating that, getting it ready for the holidays.
Oh, great.
Right? It's around the corner.
Oh, great.
It's around the corner. The other project, I would say it's that disability conference for the having a disability in Africa. I forget the title of it because we're still going back and forth. And then there's another project that I'm going to do a live broadcast next Saturday, and it's an app that shows how accessibility in the stadiums. So, but you have to. It's going to be really interesting.
You got it all going.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And then any other projects? No ambassador, no book things, no. There's always something I'm working on.
Are you thinking of writing a book? How about that?
Okay, so that is on the list.
Oh, okay.
I have started. I think I'm at like 5 years old right now. So what I've been doing, actually, that's what I've been doing. I've actually like started from the time I was like conceived. I like actually interviewed my mom and my dad, but I've only made it to like 5 years old so far or something like that. But I know the year, I know what music, like what they listen to, like what my room looked like. I was just getting all this information so I could understand, because while I'm doing this, I'm understanding. That's why I like to have blankets wrapped around me, because I did when I was a kid. That's why I like black and with this color or this color, because I've always been around it. That's why I don't have anything on my
Mm.
walls really, because I didn't like anything on my walls then. You start learning like the things that you did like as just a baby and growing up as a child. You still do them as an adult. You just don't understand where they
Mm.
came from.
That's
Some of them
right.
until you start
That's right.
actually asking questions and stuff. So
Mm.
yeah, my idea is to tell stories, you know, in the book, like tell stories of each, like, so it's going to be moving through stories. So
Mm.
each talking point has a story, which is the same thing when I get podcast interviews. I send them a list of talking points, which it keeps growing. But I tell them
That's
each
right.
one of these has a talking point. Like if it says transportation, accessibility, disability, inspire, all of them have stories. Each talking point has a story. So I don't know, just want to do something different, something.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I wish you best of luck.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, do you have any party word?
You said what now?
Do you have any party word for my listeners?
Oh, ugh, I'm trying to think.
Think, keep thinking.
Yeah, the how. The one thing I always say. You know, I always say don't say can't, I always say how. Because how is a building, you know, like a building block, it keeps building. When you say can't, then you've already destroyed like what you're trying to accomplish. Then if you think about it, it's always the how, like how are we going to do this interview right now? Well, we're going to use Zoom. We're going to do it digitally. We're going to be able to, so we found the how. Because before this, it's like, how are we going to connect and get this,
Right.
you know? So how are we going to get it on time? We're going to schedule it. We're going to put it in our calendar. You know, so it's always the how. So when we're trying to figure out things, find the how, and that's one of the biggest things, you know. And then of course, once you find the how, find your, you know, your why you do it. But I would always say how first, because you're trying to get it done. Like
that's right.
how, you know. So
when you get the how, the solutions can come.
Yeah, I mean, it's the how. I mean, like, how am I going to get this house? You know, map it out, figure it out.
That's
you know,
right.
put all the possible ways.
Yeah,
that I can
ideas
get the-
into popping.
it is like you said, a how is like when they bring out the board and you start doing, you know, you're writing on the board with all these ideas. You got this idea. Okay, we're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do it like this. You know, we're gonna do it like this. Then an hour goes by and you're like, man, we just built a city. You know, or something. So yeah. And when you say can't, then it's like, I can't. Oh, well, yeah, you're right, because you already said to yourself, it's not gonna happen. So how, you know, you have to get rid of all that. You just gotta just find your how. Maybe I'll write a guide on it. Finding your how.
Find your how.
Find your how.
Ready to note.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you once again for coming on the show today. I really appreciate your presence and all that you have been able to take us through your journey, right? Eric Patrick Thomas. I hope some other time we can do this again.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll do it again.
Thank you so much.
First time.
All right, that's true. Thank you so much once again. It's been Lawale Bamawale Stephen. I've been having a really worthwhile, motivating discussion with Eric Patrick Thomas, aka Mr. Inspire. Thank you for joining me on this show. Let's do this some other time. From me to you, I'm saying all my love. It's bye for now.